Welcome into the Brooks Bench with our host, Brooke, aka Shiggy, and my co-host, Megan.
What's up?
You know what's crazy? I'm so used to saying Brooke's name first. Like, we were
Yeah.
consistently doing that, and then Brooke decided not to come. So, she won't be here, guys. Sorry for championship recap. But if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. Follow us on all social media at the Brooks Bench, and join our Discord link in the description. If you're here, we are going over the championship Sunday. We're recapping it, the Power Four conferences. So let's start. So first, the ACC. Man, Meg, Duke defeats NC State 76-62.
Yeah.
And if you watched our previous video, I took Duke, Megan took NC State. And how does it feel to be a loser?
You know what? I don't feel like a loser. I feel like I deserve this win because I motivated Duke to play better.
Wow,
I think they heard me, they heard our podcast, and they said, "Wow."
oh yeah.
She said, "There's no really offensive player that wants to take over and score." Ashlyn Jackson had probably one of the highest scoring games ever. She beat her average.
Kanawa had a high
Yeah, and then she went off.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then I mean, they just played normal Duke defense. So, I
Yes.
mean, you're welcome, Duke. I think me giving you guys that hard love is what got you here today. So,
Oh my God. No, but we had said it before. Duke's last two games looked really good.
yeah,
And we're like, no, they do have a chance to beat NC State. We all know Duke's defense is always good. They're always
yeah,
hustling. They're always pressuring, taking those chances. This game, it paid off. They're saying, the announcers are saying, oh, well, Duke is gonna, bring so much pressure, so maybe the pick and roll will be open, whatever. But it's like they were just so in NC State's face that nothing was working for NC State. It was in the beginning
uh-huh.
though. NC State did pop out, and Duke overcame a 14-point deficit. It's their largest comeback of the season, actually. Um, so their second half was definitely better than their first half. Like you said, Aluchi Okonowa, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and Ashton Jackson, 22.6 rebounds and 1 assist. They led Duke. And then Isaiah James led NC State 18 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. Duke shot 55% in the second and finished plus 16 on the glass. And that was it right there. Their second chance opportunities, their offensive rebounds, getting those second chance opportunities, I think really set them apart from
Uh-huh.
NC State, especially in the second half. And Duke just looked confident. Like they were just playing so well. And I think this is the best I've seen Duke play. And man, it like opened your eyes for, March Madness and how far they can go because
Uh-huh.
their defense is so good. And we were talking about it. If they're hitting their shots, good luck beating them
Yeah,
because their defense is that good. Like you said, sometimes they struggle with having someone pop off, taking control and be like, "No, I'm gonna score." Well, look what happened today. Two people
uh-huh.
stepped up, right? So they have, and I'm pretty sure O'Connell said this, like, uh, they don't want to cap what they are able to do because the sky is the limit for Duke. And I feel like in
Uh-huh.
the preseason we said that about Duke. We were high on Duke, like this could be Duke's year. And then it was kind of a little bit of rough and up and down. But yeah, congratulations to Duke. Carol Lawson's first championship, conference championship.
They came out, I would say what first 5, 6 minutes or so, um, sluggish a little bit, just not on
Yeah.
the right page, right?
Hmm.
They had that timeout, and you saw Ashlyn Jackson and Donovan pumping up
Hmm.
the team.
Hmm.
And then I think from that moment on, they just came out with a whole like different set of like just they were energized.
Hmm.
They're really running the floor. They were all crashing the boards. They definitely out
Yes.
rebound, and they just showed that they wanted it more. Honestly,
Yes. I would
because
agree with you.
you would see if it NC State. The thing about them is they save their energy to be a threat offensively, but then you'll see them jogging,
Hmm.
sluggish, and then but that's NC State, right? But then in the second half, I even saw them sluggish on offense. Like
Hmm.
they were kind of like they're down and they're kind of still just jogging through their sets, and it's like
Hmm. Hmm.
Duke was running through it all the way to the end. Like they
Hmm.
played all the way through the end. So
Yeah.
congrats.
And like I said, Duke turned it around after being down 14. They outscored NC State 47-26 in the second half. So,
Yeah.
Alucia Kanawa was the ACC All-Tournament MVP. She also was on, obviously, the first team, All-Tournament team with Ashton Jackson, Isaiah James, Sanaya Rivers, and Zoe Brooks. ACC also had a second team, Hannah Hidalgo, Madison Hayes, Marta Suarez, Michaela Timpson, and Olivia Miles. But yeah, congrats, Duke. I feel
Hmm.
like it turned a lot of heads. We'll be talking about seeding and like our predictions for seeding in the next week. I haven't decided if it's going to be tomorrow or the day after that. But I think Duke could push for that 2 seed.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about more tournament stuff in the next couple of days. Over to the Big Ten. Champions UCLA. I wish Brooke was here because I feel like she would have had some words for us.
Yeah.
Um, we did say and kept repeating it is hard to beat a team 3 times. And
Yep.
UCLA showed up, showed out. Was a little shaky in the beginning. Let's be real. But they came out that second half. They held USC to 17 points in the second half.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Um,
I think it goes to show like UCLA, they have more veterans been here before. You
mhm,
know, they have the mindset where it was like, okay, we're down, but we're not out.
mhm,
And they kept playing through it. They kept their cool. They never like you never saw the attitude change of like, oh, things aren't going my way, so I'm just gonna give up or anything like that.
mhm,
And whereas USC, you saw a little bit more of that frustration and that breaking apart, like where
mhm,
players are getting like a little frustrated. Oh, someone just turned the ball over, and instead of coming together, it was kind of like, you know.
mhm.
And it's hard. They're younger. I mean, I know Kiki's a senior, but I just think that that's just they haven't been there, right? They haven't
Mhm.
been able to, be in this moment where, you lost your lead, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Are you going to roll over or are you going to fight to get the lead back? And they kind of rolled over.
Mhm.
Juju just couldn't get the calls. I know she was really trying to get to paint to the paint and
Mhm.
draw the fouls, but calls were not going her way like they usually do. UCLA was getting some calls. I was like, ah. But other than that, though, good for UCLA.
Yeah. It's a good confidence booster, this win for
Yeah.
them. It kind of changes your perspective of how far they can go in March Madness.
Hmm.
This just wasn't a good day for USC. They missed 14 consecutive shots starting late in the third quarter. Only made 4 baskets in the fourth as they let a 40, they're up 48-35. And
Hmm.
they just let that go. But you could see in the previous game against Ohio State, we were talking about how UCLA's threes, they're hitting.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what they need. They need other people besides Lauren Betts to step up. And you saw the ancillary players stepping up. They shot 53% from the three this game and
Hmm.
52% from the field. So UCLA really turned it on offensively. And that's what their defense won this game. But their shooting, Lauren Betts led them with 17 points, Kiki Rice 13 points. It was a great performance. It was a UCLA we knew that like we were kind of missing for a little bit
Yeah.
because they started off so strong. Um, but yeah, tough day for USC.
Yeah. And Raya Marshall, man, she's kind of frustrating to watch. I know that Clarice off the bench, I like her play so much better, and I know she was dealing with foul
Mm,
trouble, but
mm-hmm.
I just think it was a bad call from the coach. I believe there was probably like 4 or 5 minutes on the clock still, and I think they were down
Mm-hmm.
6 or 8 points, right? With 4 minutes, three to 4 minutes on the clock, I would not
Yeah.
say that USC was out of this game at all.
No.
And she got taken out the game because she got her fourth foul.
Yeah.
My mindset is we're down.
Mm-hmm.
I would leave her in the game because no offense, she's more aggressive defensively and offensively. She gets the O boards for them, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion,
Mm-hmm.
better than Raya. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like lately she's been playing better. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she wasn't really putting up points today, but neither was Raya. So I'd rather
Yeah.
have had her out there. Um, and it just sucked that they pulled her and they never even put her back in.
Yeah.
And it's like, who cares? Let her fall out. Like at this point, you're down. What you have nothing to lose. Let her play.
Yeah.
So that was my frustration. But other than that, congrats UCLA. I hope that this puts fire under USC because
Mm-hmm.
I can't watch USC lose the way they did last year in the Final Four. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, that was tough.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and to that point, like you were saying, and she was a factor in both UCLA's win. I mean, USC's wins against UCLA. So it was frustrating watching her, like Ryan Marshall, kind of just like I don't know. I
Yeah.
do see your frustrations on that. But yes, UCLA, you played how we all thought you were going to play the second time around in regular
Mm-hmm.
season. That's how we thought you were going to come out. But hard to be a team three times. We said it. Lauren Betts won most, MVP.
Yeah.
And then the all Big Tournament, Big Ten tournament team was Lucy Olson, Silas Swords, Kiki Iriafen, Juju Watkins, and obviously Lauren Betts. Solid team. They all performed really well in this tournament. All right, over to the Big 12, and I want to apologize to the Big 12 because we were really locked in on the Big 10, and because of this stupid scheduling, they overlapped the last two games. They
Mm-hmm.
spaced out every single game except the last two games, which was super disappointing. They were both on, but TCU ended up defeating Baylor 64 to 59, and it got close in the fourth. And the biggest thing with TCU, I swear they let people back into the game in the fourth. They'll be killing it all the way through, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden at the end, you look down and it's a close game. Baylor's back in there. I know Baylor struggled in the first half. They only shot 26%, and then TCU was shooting 50%. But Haley Van Lith led TCU again, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and Sedona Prince, 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. Aaronette Von Lay for Baylor, 20 points and 6 rebounds. Just a good win for TCU. We're here for it. We were rooting for them. We decided, yeah, that we wanted them to win. What
Mm-hmm.
was it? Their first, what's the stat? It was their first.
It's their first conference title, no?
No, since like it's one of those like okay, oh yeah, right here. TCU wins Big 12 tournament title um since 2005. It's the first conference
Okay.
tournament title since 2005. But they weren't in this conference. Um so yeah, and it's going to be their first time going into March Madness since 2010. So that's dope for them. It's actually Haley Van List's first time winning a conference
Yeah.
tournament too. They were saying that. She's been to
Mm-hmm.
four and she's this is our first one. So that's man, there's a lot of firsts in this one.
Yeah, I remember we used to yell at the TV, man, because Louisville would be right there. It was always her too. Always
I
her.
know.
It's like what Juju's going through, like always getting there, having a great game, putting up numbers, and then not being able to pull it off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, TCU, it was kind of the same, very defensive game, very physical. And this TCU ended up pulling it out.
Mm-hmm.
Haley Van Lith obviously was the most valuable player. All tournament team was Aaronette Von Lay, Staley Hurd, Sedona Prince, Haley Van Lith, and JJ Quinterly. Man, they're getting these tournament teams right. Like
Yeah,
every time I name these, I'm like, yes, because
no
they played
complaint.
good.
Yep.
They stood out. Like these kids stood out and did
Mm-hmm.
their thing. TCU, man, I think they're projected as a third seed, but it's like they could also be fighting for that two seed. We're gonna talk about it because like there's so much movement with certain teams winning, certain teams losing. But man, this is gonna be a tough tournament. Um, so I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. And then over to the last tournament, the SEC, the champions, South Carolina defeating Texas 64 to 45. And it was really never close. South Carolina, you look good. My
Mm-hmm.
God. They just dominated this game. Their ball movement was beautiful. They played selfless. They held Madison Booker to only 10 points. Um, and speaking on that, we never talked about it, and that's our fault. But the SEC Player of the Year, which I was shocked when it came out, was Madison Booker over Anissa Morrow, who averaged a double
Mm-hmm.
double. We never talked about it, but like. I don't see how someone that's averaging a double-double doesn't get SEC Player of the Year.
Hmm.
She was killing it. I mean, Madison Booker had a good season, but Player of the Year season? I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a snub, but I think it's because LSU had some losses. Um,
Oh, you're saying they went with the best player on the best team narrative? I
you know
hate
how
that.
you know how
I
that
hate
goes,
that narrative.
but it's like the only thing that really can explain it, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Man, we talk about when we talk about the W, how that happens all the time, best player on the
Yeah.
best team. I hate that narrative so much.
Hmm.
Um, it's whack, but I mean, and now Madison Booker gets slack on social media a lot, like, oh, she was player of the year, like she did this, like, oh, she only scored 10 points. She did struggle in this game. She shot 4 for 13. It just wasn't good for them. But South Carolina dominated in the tournament. They won all three of their games, or their last three tournament games, by 21, 18, and 19 points. So I mean, yeah, South Carolina killed it. They never trailed, opened the game 19-2 run to start the second quarter to build a 33-16 lead at the break. Um, and yeah, it got worse and worse as the game went on. South Carolina looks good. They shot 100% from the free throw line, 7 for 7. We love to see it, and outscored Texas in the paint 40-18.
Hmm.
Dominating. Um, I said before going into the day, the number one overall seed was up in the air. If USC won their tournament, I think it would have been a harder decision, but because they didn't, I really personally think South Carolina is the number one seed overall.
Hmm.
I don't know what you're thinking or how, your process is, but like, what do you kind of think? Just as a sneak peek, because we also will be talking about it, but
I agree. I just feel like South Carolina is just they're gelling.
hmm
They're playing the best, like offensively and defensively. Um, but I just feel like there's just so many good teams, and I just feel like the way the regular season has gone, where any day it could be an upset by
Yep.
any of those top teams. That I just it's hard to say, and I'm just looking forward to the tournament because it can go in either way. Like it could
Yeah.
go. I think any of these top teams have a chance, whether they're one or two seeds. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
know it all depends on their path, right? But
hmm
oh man, it's there's talent on these teams this year. This is the most competitive and hard like choosing it's ever been in the last like couple years. Because
hmm
in the past few years, there's only been like two teams where you're like, ah, okay. Like I
Yeah.
know the past couple years, I've been like, South Carolina's gonna run away with this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, so to see, I say it's more than what five teams that are
Oh yeah.
talented and could easily win this.
Yeah. Because everyone's beaten everyone basically.
Yeah,
No one's been like so dominant where no one's gotten beat.
I know.
Yes, everyone's gotten beaten. Oh my God. See, look at this. Now Brooke's inspiring other animals to jump into people's streams. Bye. But yeah, so the MVP was Chloe Kitts. She killed it. She had a great tournament. She's peaking at the right time for South Carolina. All tournament team, obviously Chloe Kitts, Anissa Morrow, Madison Booker, Sanaya Fagan, and Malaysia Fulwiley. Yeah, the South Carolina's bench, and I think what sets it apart is their bench is always gonna come out swinging.
Yeah.
Fulwiley, Joyce Edwards, they're gonna come out.
No one has a bench like South
Yeah,
Carolina.
no,
Hands down. No one
yeah.
has that depth that South Carolina has.
And it just sets them apart. And if they can
Hmm.
continue to play, selfless and just win, it's really gonna get them far. But yes, it was a fun tournament. We were almost kind of accurate a little bit. We didn't do horrible. Hopefully we do a little bit better when the tournament comes. We'll be doing a bracket selection. Either us two or all three of us. We're gonna combine on a bracket together. Okay? Teamwork makes the dream work. And we will record that for you guys and get your opinions on that. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll have another video of going over who we think the number one seed should be, more tournament stuff, and just other things between now and Selection Sunday because now we have a whole week. A whole week of no basketball. It's going to be a little bit boring, but we'll try and fill in some content for you guys. And thank you guys for tuning in so far. We appreciate the support. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, we'll be back. See ya. Peace.
Peace.